Welcome to my final thoughts of NFL Week 13. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully, it was a fun time with your friends and family. I had a great Thanksgiving overall, but Ohio State ruined it. Went to the game and left very disappointed. One of the worst Ohio State losses of all time. I know this has nothing to do with my NFL final thoughts, but I figured I'd add it. The most disappointing, pathetic loss in probably Ohio State football history. Let's get in now to the NFL final thoughts on a disappointing, depressing Ohio sports fan weekend it was. All right, so of course we will start off with the Thursday games and the Thanksgiving slate that we had. We'll start off with Chicago and Detroit, starting off here with our Week 13 Thanksgiving game, the traditional Bears and Lions matchup. Very slow start for the Lions. I think kind of everyone kind of expected a blowout, but it's another NFC North divisional game, so it was pretty close. And just what are the Bears doing? That's the question of the day. What are the Bears doing? Of course, they fired their coach shortly after, and deserved. I mean, why? What are we doing? No timeout being taken with 30 seconds to go. You have a field goal chance to send this game to overtime, and we're not taking a timeout. Like I said before, the Bears' downfall was supposed to happen after the 4-1. They have not won a game since. They're 4-8. Way to go, Chicago. Pretty pathetic. Way to go out. Just a very disappointing game for Chicago fans, as you're expected. Week in and week out, how are they going to find a way to lose? They're seriously finding a new way to lose every single week. Bear down. Yeah, the Lions get a much-needed win to stay on top of the NFC North. They take on the Packers next Thursday night. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Just a very mediocre game, though, for Detroit and their offense. Sam Laporta had himself a day, though, finding the end zone twice, but it wasn't enough. The Bears find a way to lose. Like I said again, Detroit goes to 11-1. They are the turkey leg eaters of the 1 o'clock slate. And we move on to my Dallas Cowboys 4 o'clock game of the Thanksgiving Day. A nice turkey day for the Dallas Cowboys. Started to pull away during the game. Rico Dowdle finally finds the end zone on the ground for the first time literally this entire football season. The Cowboys get a rushing touchdown from Rico Dowdle. He definitely ate up the Giants' defense. Thought the Cowboys were going to kind of blow the game away. Giants and Drew Lock, I would definitely say, was a much-needed starter over Tommy. I think that's obvious as day. I don't know why Drew Lock honestly didn't get the start over him in general. I would say Drew Lock is definitely a better player. He didn't play spectacular by any means, but he gave him more of a game than I think Tommy would have for New York. Either way, not much to say. The Cowboys, they get the win. CeeDee Lamb, though, going out with an injury definitely hurts this offense. They're going to need it off against Cincinnati, in my opinion, even though Cincinnati's defense is bad. They're going to need CeeDee Lamb either way. But welcome back, though. Brandon Cooks, he finds the end zone. Very nice to see him back in this Cowboys offense, though. Either way, the Cowboys, they eat the turkey legs with the 4 o'clock slate. They get the win, much needed. And the Giants are eliminated from the playoffs again. And to the Thursday night Turkey Day game of the Dolphins heading into Green Bay. Everybody knows the Packers are going to win this game. You really think the Dolphins are going to win below 40-degree weather or whatever the temperature was, because it was definitely below freezing for sure. The Packers dominate Miami from beginning to start to finish. I mean, not much to say about Miami. Pretty pathetic game. Tua didn't have honestly a bad game, but Jonnu Smith just keeps going off on this offense. Another 100-yard receiving day. But it was enough to stop Jordan Love in this offense. Jacobs find himself the end zone as well. Jaden Reed finding the end zone. And just a nice day, though. Nice night for the Packers. They get it done. I didn't get to really watch a whole lot of this game, spending time with family and whatnot. So the Packers, though, they get a nice dominating win. A much-needed win again to stay in hunt in that NFC North. I think they were easily playoff bound, though. But they have not secured the division yet. The Dolphins, very tough loss that I would say almost ended their season and their playoff hopes. They fall to 5-8. They are now down, I think, 2 or 3 games from the last playoff spot in the AFC behind Denver. They're 8-5, so yeah, 3 games now behind Denver. Tough loss for Miami. It's kind of just been their season in general. Just, I mean, Just not much to say. I mean, pretty disappointing season for Miami. I kind of expected better from this team with their offense. Injuries have hurt this team, and just not their year. It's not. But it is the Packers' year for sure, and they will be going to the playoffs for sure. And they get the last Turkey Day eating of the legs on Thursday night. And we move on to our 1 o'clock slate games on Sunday, and it was another comeback win and another one possession score win for the Vikings. They squeak out another win at home. Their defense forcing big-time turnovers. Sam Darnold, 2 touchdowns in the air. Justin Jefferson, a slow start, got it going in the second half. Trey McBride, man, wow, he is such a great tight end for Arizona. Definitely Kyler Murray's favorite target besides when you have little Marvin Harrison. You'd think it'd be different, but it's not. Trey McBride, another day, have a day, but a loss. A tough break for Arizona. They fall to 6-6. The Vikings are now 10-2, a game behind still in the NFC North. But another just squeak by win for this team. They just find a way to get it done every single week. This team's getting wins, and I can't say much about it. I mean, what do you do? But either way, a tough break for Arizona. They needed that in their division. They are not in first now, for sure. They're now a game behind Seattle. Like I said, Minnesota making big plays on defense. They get the win at home, and another much-needed win, and another squeak by. Speaking of squeak by wins, the Indianapolis Colts went into New England this past Sunday in a battle of young quarterbacks of Anthony Richardson and Drake May. Both teams back and forth game. That one interception the Colts had over Hunter Henry, that was insane over there in the end zone, around like the 1 yard line. I don't know how the heck they picked that off. Like I said, back and forth game. Richardson didn't have a bad himself game. A clutch, just fourth quarter drive, last chance for the game, 4th and goal. The Colts get the touchdown, and they go for 2 for the win and get it. And then Mr. Sly's field goal, 68 yards in that cold weather. That was super close. Generally thought that was actually going to go in for that game-winning field goal for New England, but he was just a hair short. Indianapolis gets a big-time win out of New England. They end the Patriots' playoff hopes, and they are officially eliminated. And the Colts now 2 games back from Denver in the wild card spot. They got to keep winning. The Colts have a bye next week. We know Josh Downs this past week, so they still got the win. But either way, the Colts squeak by. They just need to keep winning. Like I said, they have a bye week this week. Patriots season is over, as we expected. And we'll see what they do the next week after that. I'm not sure who the Colts play, but they need to keep winning to keep their playoff hopes alive. They sneak out a win in New England. And we head to a defensive battle between the Chargers and Atlanta Falcons. I expected this game to be very low scoring, and I was correct. Very ugly game. Ugly game from Mr. Chain, Kirk Cousins, because that chain is not spinning this week. Throw that thing away or sell it, because you don't deserve it. A disgusting game from Kirk Cousins, 4 interceptions. Okay, but why did the Chargers punt on their own 36-yard line? That is still a question that I will never get answered. But the Chargers defense makes some big-time plays, pick sixes, and just turnovers in general they forced. But they only won by 4, which is pretty devastating. But either way, Chargers get it done. They go to 8-4 on the year, and they are just rolling away. I just still think they're a super quiet 8-4 team that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, my gosh, this team is just not doing like Justin Herbert throws for 147 yards again, no touchdowns, and they're winning football games. Their defense is definitely carrying, for sure. They're just making big plays and they're getting it done. Ugly game. Bijan Robinson, though, 100 yards. He finds the end zone. That's all she wrote for Atlanta. Ugly game, like I said. You're not going to win in the playoffs or make any type of run. Tampa Bay gains a gain on them in that division. I think there might be tied, or maybe Tampa Bay's a half game out, I think. I'd have to look. Either way, a much-needed win for the Chargers to keep their playoff hopes alive and staying in the wild card, of course. But a very tough break for Atlanta, because you got to win that division, or you're most likely not making the playoffs in the NFC. And we move on to the biggest hit of the day. Trevor Lawrence took against the Texans. Algier, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I believe he is now suspended for 3 games after that vicious, terrible hit Trevor Lawrence took. Did take an apology, but still a 3-game suspension there. But yeah, that was super ugly. Mac Jones came into the game, though. Had a nice comeback, honestly, against the Texans. Wasn't enough. The Texans squeaked by another win against Jacksonville, 23-20. and they're 2 games ahead of the Colts in the AFC South. Now, once again, a very sloppy win, though, for Houston. They are by far a one and done in the playoffs. I hope everyone can get on that train because that's exactly what's going to happen. Another ugly win. Joe Mixon, though, had himself a nice day, 100 yards and a touchdown for him. Stroud, 1 touchdown. Nico Collins over had 100 yards, but still, this team is just so mid and just nothing spectacular. I mean, CJ Stroud, not a bad game, don't get me wrong, but still just, I'm not impressed with this game. I mean, a 3-point win at Jacksonville is just ugly game overall. Not much to say, really. I mean, Houston's just looking mid as mid. I mean, by far one of the middest teams, I think, in the league right now. But they're 8-5. They're most likely going to win their division with a 2-game lead over the Colts. I believe they do have the tiebreaker, if I'm correct, as of right now. But either way, H-Town gets it done, and the Jacksonville Jaguars' playoff hopes as well are over. A Cincinnati shootout between the Steelers and the Bengals. Wow. I mean, I think this is one of the most highest scoring matchups between these two teams, I think, in their rival history, if I'm correct. Just what a performance. I think I can finally admit it that the Steelers are for real, because I was never on the train of the hype train for them at all. I thought just seeing them score 44 points is weird. I mean, scoring 27 points at halftime is weird. That's their final score, if not less. But Joe Burrow, just please get a trade. Get out of Cincinnati. You're going to lose T. Higgins by the end of this year. You're all they get. You're all they got. You're all they got. You've done what you had to do. You had your chance to win the ring with them, and that was it. It's over. Bengals fall to 4-8. Steelers are now 9-3, and I think a game and a half or 2 games over now the Ravens in the AFC North, which I cannot believe. But either way, the Bengals doing anything they can with Joe Burrow under center, and they're not getting it done. I mean, it's very devastating to see the way this is going out. He did have a turnover, but either way, Steelers just could not be stopped. I mean, they were just carving up the Bengals defense all day from start to beginning. I mean, my gosh. Najee had himself a nice day. George Pickens was open a good amount of times. He finds the end zone as well. Russell Wilson cooks. Russell Wilson is cooking. Unbelievable game from the Steel City. I would say this is, in my opinion, though, I think this is an upset game because I did not expect. I had the Bengals favored in this game for sure by at least 2.5. But the Steelers got it done. I mean, I'm impressed with this win. I think it's a very nice win for Pittsburgh. They steal one from Cincinnati in a big-time win. And I think Cincinnati, their playoff hopes are hanging by a thread. You really thought the Jets were going to win against Seattle, didn't you? Honestly, because I did. The Jets blow a 21-7 lead against the Seattle Seahawks. And yeah, pretty disappointing again from the Jets for sure, of course. Aaron Rodgers had a turnover, even though the Seahawks special teams issues with Shenault, and it didn't matter. Their defense made some big time plays, and Seattle steals one out of New York. I honestly thought the Jets were going to win this game, to be honest, but just a great win from Seattle. They got it done. They came back and they got it done. Aaron Rodgers couldn't connect on a game-winning touchdown pass. The game ends. I didn't really watch any of this game at all, but Geno gets it done in New York. Seahawks go to 7-6, and they are now first in the NFC West as well. Still by themselves, no tiebreaker at all right now. A half-game lead over Arizona. I mean, what do you do if you're in New York? Like, this is just like disappointment as it gets for the Jets. I mean, this team's pretty much out of the playoffs at this point. They're like a half game out of being eliminated. And who would have thought? I mean, I personally didn't see this coming. I mean, this is just the new low now. Now we're blowing games out. We're blowing games. Aaron Rodgers has just never been in this spot. I don't think in his career. I mean, Breece Hall does nothing. Devontae Adams found the end zone. I mean, it's almost not even funny anymore making fun of this team. I mean, these are my Cowboys to make fun of because how much I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I also love seeing the 49ers stink as well, but still, I mean, this is just a masterclass of depression here for just the Jets. Another sad just sports city of New York, another team to be disappointed in. You have the Giants, you have the Jets. The Yankees blew you up. The Mets blew it. It's just disappointing depression in the city of New York. And last but not least, on our 1 o'clock games, the blowout of the day. The Titans came into town to Washington to take on the Commanders, and the Commanders flipped their team around this week. A dominating day. This game was over by halftime, or like the first quarter. Washington gets out a big-time win. Jaden Daniels carves up Tennessee. 3 touchdowns. Brian Robinson, 100 yards, touchdown. Terry McLaurin, 2 touchdowns in the first half. It was over. Now I'm going to just say, blowout game. Tennessee, just ugly game. Tried to shoot some fight in the end. It didn't matter. Levis found 2 touchdowns. Westbrook again getting in the end zone twice on 3 catches, finding the end zone. Either way, though, a dominating offensive performance, a much-needed bounce-back win for Washington as they prevail now to 8-5 on the year in the hunt, or actually not in the hunt, they're in the wild card right now in the NFC, and looks like they should still be playoff bound. Either way, though, not much to say. A blowout, dominating performance, a much-needed bounce-back win, and that was the Commanders team I think we're used to seeing right now, and the fans want to see, because how this offense is good. Once they have everyone involved, man, this team is pretty tough to beat. Washington, much-needed bounce-back win. The 4 o'clock games. It's been back-to-back weeks. The Panthers have had upsets in their hands, but they didn't seal the deal. This one hurts even, I think, more. They had this one in the bag. Baker Mayfield by far had one of his worst games of the year against Carolina. Bryce Young, 1 touchdown in the air. Adam Thielen had himself a day just short of 100 yards with a touchdown. But Bucky Irving, though, had himself a day against that Carolina defense. Chuba Hubbard, though, he was shut down by Tampa Bay's defense. Hubbard's been going off about every other week, but this week, very quiet. Mike Evans, once again, trying to chase 1,000 yards. He finds the end zone, has himself a decent day. Chase McLaughlin, a very great NFL kicker. By far a top 3, I think, kicker this year in the NFL. 2 big-time field goals, 1 to go to OT, and 1 for the game-winning field goal. Tampa Bay, a much-needed win. As I see, they are 6-6 right now, so they are tied now in the NFC South with Atlanta. The winner of that division, playoff bound, and none other teams making the playoffs, I don't think for sure. Either way, though, a big-time win for the Buccaneers. They survived the upset in Carolina. I definitely thought they were actually going to lose, but they just sneak away with one. Baker Mayfield, ugly game, still turns it around, gets that win, and a much-needed one for Tampa Bay. And by far, the game of the week between these two teams, the Eagles and the Ravens. The Battle of the Birds here. A slow start for Philly. But the Ravens were getting it going, but man, what? Is it over? Like, is it time to, is he washed? Is Justin Tucker, I think is he officially washed? Is this it? Or is this just a bad season for him? I don't know. Very ugly game from Justin Tucker. I mean, my gosh, it's just, this dude can't make anything anymore. I don't know what's going on. It's really sad to see the way it's going for him this season. Very tough game. The Eagles took advantage of that. Barkley carves up the Ravens defense. Another 100-yard game. He finds the end zone. Jalen Hurts finding the end zone. Touchdown pass as well. Mark Andrews finding himself the end zone. I mean, this dude just really turned it around this season himself. But it wasn't enough. Can't recover the onside, and that's it. Eagles have won 8 straight games. By far one of the hottest teams in the NFL. Right there with the Bills and Lions. They just can't lose. They are now 10-2 with a 2.5 game lead in the NFC East. They are running away with the division this year. Can they keep this up, though, when it comes playoff time? That's the question of the day. Can the Eagles keep it going? Or will they fold again in the playoffs? Tough loss for the Ravens as they fall another game behind the Steelers in their division. And yeah, just another win for Philly. 8 straight for this freaking team. Come on, Baltimore. Seriously, you're at home and you lost it. Gosh. And last but not least of our 4 o'clock slate games, we have the Rams and the Saints. Honestly, don't think I watched a single second of this one, so we'll see how this goes. But either way, the Rams get it done. They sneak away a win in New Orleans. Thought they were honestly going to lose this game. Just kind of a mid-performance from LA, but a much-needed win because they're only a half game behind Seattle in the NFC West. It sure doesn't seem like it, but they're in this division. they can seriously win this division if they want. Because personally, I think they have the best offense in the NFC West right now. I mean, I personally think they do. With Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Demarcus Robinson. I mean, this team has a nice offense. Just can they get it done? They're just looking but they sneak out away with a win, strip sack at the end of the game, fumble recovery. They get it done. Like I said, just not a great game. I mean, Kyron Williams finally getting back in his groove, had himself a 100-yard day, finding the end zone. That's what this Rams offense needs. The running game is very important more, I think, than people realize that this team needs. Because this dude can run. Matthew Stafford, 2 touchdowns, just shy of 100 yards. Alvin Kamara, 100 yards, though. Nice day for him. But wasn't enough, though, to stop LA. They had a very low-scoring game until that fourth quarter really arrived, and this offense has started to wake up a little bit. But the Rams, they get just a much-needed tough win. Another tough break for New Orleans as they fall to 4-8 on the year. Like I said, of course, they have a bunch of injuries on their offensive side. Noah Olave, it's just, but either way, Saints season is over pretty much. And the Rams, they're staying alive in a hunt for that division. It's kind of like the NFC South. Whoever wins that division, you're in the playoffs. NFC West, I would say, has more of an edge to have 2 teams, I think, more in the playoffs than the way the NFC South's looking. But much needed win for LA. They get it done. They're 500. And we move on to Winter Wonderland Sunday Night Football. What a fun game this was between the 49ers and the Bills, even though it was an absolute blowout. But Josh Allen's continuing to proving why he needs to be the MVP guy, honestly, this year. I think he's looking really good. 200 yards in that nasty snow, but man, that was really fun to watch. Bills fans trying to block field goals with snowballs in the air. I mean, just cinema game, dude. Awesome. 100 yards for James Cook. More injuries for the 49ers. I mean, my gosh. I mean, Christian McCaffrey goes down. Now Mason's now done. He's on IR. Whew, man. San Francisco season is so over. They fall to 5-7. Just really hurts. I mean, the Cowboys and 49ers this year both having the same exact issues, injuries, and just complete folds of seasons. I mean, both these 2 teams always in the playoffs, so we feel like every year now and they're both not going to be in it. But pretty disappointing game for San Francisco. I mean, you're not going out of the way from California and San Francisco, going into Buffalo and playing in that, not a chance. I mean, same situation with Miami. They can't play in the snow or the cold, and San Francisco proves why they can't do that either. At least in Buffalo. They can in Green Bay, we've seen, but not in Buffalo in that Winter Wonderland. Pretty nasty game. I mean, what a play that we saw by Josh Allen, Amari Cooper, that flip catch. I mean, that looked like Travis Kelce stuff with the Chiefs. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like Chris Collinsworth with the Chiefs here, but that's just really that's exactly what it looked like. I mean, very smart football play there, especially in those type of conditions. I mean, you're just kind of wanting to go down, but that was a great play, and just not risking losing a fumble. But what a great play that was. The Bills just dominate 35-10, running away. I think they are now, yes, they have clinched their division, the first team to clinch their division this year in the AFC East at 10-2. And getting it done in the first week of December is pretty impressive. But that division's also really bad. Either way, Bills, 10th win of the season, dominating performance in that Winter Wonderland Classic. We love those snow games. And yeah, dominating performance out of Josh Allen and that offense. Last but not least, Monday Night Football. I did not expect this to be a shootout by any means. I expected like a 27-21, 20, 27-13 game. I don't know. I did not expect a 41-32 shootout between Bo Nix and Jameis Winston. Wow. The Browns really fought hard in this game. Most Jameis Winston game ever. 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Jameis Winston, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't watched him a lot, that is Jameis Winston in a nutshell. Browns fans, if that was Deshaun Watson, they'd probably be pissed. Either way, I mean, it's just a tough loss. I mean, Jerry Jeudy had himself a day, 235 yards, finding himself in the end zone. I mean, what a day for Jerry Jeudy, and it wasn't enough. Marvin Mims had himself 105 yards, had that one big-time breakaway touchdown, Bo Nix's only touchdown pass of the game. But he had himself a touch today, though. I mean, 2 interceptions, 294 yards, but they get a win. They get the job done. Another quiet 8-5 team are the Denver Broncos. Right now, they have the last spot in the wild card there. What a fun game, though, honestly. Really fun Monday night game. I expected it to kind of be just like a boring defensive game. I mean, nothing wrong with defensive games, but we loved our shootouts. But man, what a win, though, for Denver. Browns, they fall to 3-9. They're like on the edge of losing as well, getting eliminated from the playoff spot. But either way, we might see 2 to 3 teams in that AFC West make the playoffs. So I feel like we don't really get to see that a lot, honestly. 2 teams make the playoffs in that division. So definitely a chance we might see that this year. But either way, very nice, fun Thanksgiving holiday weekend for the NFL. College, not so much. But either way, hope you guys liked that. Now we'll get into my favorite segment of this, my losers and winners of the week. We're going to start with our losers of the week. I think this one's simple. Bang. Atlanta Falcons. Ugly game. I expected it to be defensive, but a disgusting game from Kirk Cousins. You're not going to win with 4 interceptions. Be thankful. That's your Thanksgiving thankful thing of the year right there. They were thankful that they only lost by 4 because that was just such a pathetic game. Just disgusting. I mean, very disappointing. You lose at home against the very mediocre Chargers offense, I would say. McConkey, had himself a decent game, but I mean, that's about all they got. I mean, they have no more J.K. Dobbins. He's done for who knows how long. I mean, Justin Herbert doesn't even throw a touchdown pass, and they win by 4. And he's not even over 200 yards. I mean, pretty pathetic out of Atlanta. Ugly game for Atlanta. They are by far my losers of the week. And then last but not least, my winners of the week this week. I wanted to give this to Pittsburgh, but with how bad Cincinnati's defense is, are we surprised they put up that many points? I don't know. But I think, though, my winners of the week are the Eagles. 8 straight wins. Going into Baltimore, not easy against an MVP caliber quarterback of Lamar Jackson. But then there's Saquon, by far MVP race running back. I think he deserves it as well. It was a slow start for Philadelphia, but man, they got it going. They got to win and sneak one out of Baltimore. That's a tough one. Going into Baltimore Thanksgiving weekend, that's a tough place to play, and they get it done. I mean, the Eagles are finding ways to win. Once again, I don't think Devontae Smith even played as well in this game. Another guy down, doesn't even matter. They get it done. That is why my Eagles are my team of the week. Winning in Baltimore, not easy. You're down a player, doesn't matter. Philadelphia finds a way to get it done, winning their 8th straight game. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this one of my final thoughts on Week 13, Thanksgiving edition, holiday fun. We saw some more snow games. We love it. And if we look up here, I always get it wrong. But up here is our next week's slated games of Week 14. Special edition Monday Night Football. My Dallas Cowboys will host Cincinnati on Simpson edition, I think it is. I think that was rumored to be a flex game, but they couldn't because that's now a thing, so they couldn't change it. Because both of those teams don't deserve a primetime game by any means. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like and sub to the channel if you'd like. Enjoy our next week of NFL action starting Thursday night with Green Bay and Detroit. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and a holiday weekend. It was ruined for me by Ohio State football. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, follow the TikTok or Facebook, SpeedosFan12, and we'll be going live this week. The return, Chapter 1, Season 1 of Fortnite. See you guys this Friday night for a live stream or the afternoon. We'll see what time we start. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you later.